Questions I had were on page 6, table number 6, the funding sources for the 10-year plan. And that's, I forget what this document is called. The draft resolution, I think. Let me see. No, it is the document past that, the draft Pima County roadway pavement repair and preservation 10-year plan. It's after the resolution. And then on page, yeah, table 6, it's on page 6. And so on the funding sources, I see we've got the potential sales tax revenues. Under the additional HERF from debt decreases, how much do we have outstanding in HERF bonds right now? I know that we've got that other 16 million.
Mr. Huckelberry?
Mr. Chairman and Supervisor Miller, I can't give you that off the top of my head, but we can certainly find out. And I don't know if anybody actually has the number.
I can't remember.
Anna, do you have that number?
Or Carmine.
No.
Anna, do you have that number?
Chairman and Supervisor.
We can't hear you.
I know, I'm trying to push the button, thank you. Outstanding is in how many more we have to sell?
No, how much debt do we have currently outstanding that we're paying off, and we're just issuing another 16 million authorized today? You can get it to me later.
Okay.
I was just curious, I'd like to know, because I could see that additional, or from the debt decreases goes up. I just wondered at year 10, we're getting 10 million in there. I wonder at what point these bonds are paid off, probably 15 years.
Mr. Chairman and Supervisor Miller, yes, they're all issued for no more than 15 years.
Okay.
And as you can see, it begins to drop fairly dramatically, and at this point, we're still pretty much paid to about $18–19 million a year debt service.
Were these 16 million included in that calculation, or was that just looking at the existing debt?
Mr. Chairman and Supervisor Miller, those were included.
Okay. And then on the operational savings, I see that goes as roughly 2 million in year 2, and then it goes up significantly. I wonder what the assumptions are behind how we achieve those operational savings.
So you're looking at year 5, what years?
I'm looking at the whole table, years 2 through 10. Because in year 2, it's at 2 million, and then by year 6, it's 10 million. So that's pretty significant in terms of savings. So I wanted to get some background on what the assumptions were and how you arrived at those numbers.
It's 2 million years.
So, Chairman.
It's 11 million, 10 million.
Mr. Huckelberry, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, let me have Carmine DeVonis and the department staff answer that. They were the ones who were instrumental in determining how they could save.
I think that would be helpful. Carmine?
Chairman, Supervisor Miller, the department is engaged in a process improvement effort looking from top to bottom at how to enhance service delivery at a lower cost. So that's looking at every aspect of how work is performed and achieving savings through introducing technology, redesigning how processes are delivered. That could be how we go out and do pothole repair, how we program our signals and do our maintenance on signs and the rest of the infrastructure in the department. So it's expected that over time, through efficiencies in process and the introduction of technology, that we will lessen the staffing footprint within the department. So those savings are heavily dependent on fewer headcount within the department as we move forward through those years.
Okay. And then the final...
Thank you, Carmine.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. The final question I have is on, excuse me, the column additional HERF from increased revenues. Is there some, I just wonder, where this past year we got 87 million. And in year one, you're contributing 1.8 million to the road repair. Where's the rest of that money going? And then it goes up and gets to, in year 10, 20 million being contributed to the road repair. And to me, I think we should be starting at 20 million. And I know we have a disagreement on that, but it seems like out of this, HERF revenue is going to continue to increase if the economy stays good and people keep traveling and we get more visitors, et cetera. That's a concern that we're putting very little money, especially in the first several years.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Huckelberry, I think there's a question in there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the additional HERF, I think that's probably HERF and VLT, it's transportation related.
Right, so that's the combined transportation component received by the county with an assumption of 3% growth in that HERF going forward over the 10-year period.
So that's
So your essential calculation that gets you there variable is growth.
Mr. Huckelberry, please.
Yes, I think and that's why the table probably should be additional HERF from increased revenues, but additional HERF and transportation, DLT. And so that's the two, but it's not three. And so I think is what you must understand, this is only the DLT that's transportation earmarked. And so that's really the HERF at about 42-43 million, and then BLT at 17-18 for transportation. It's not the general fund BLT, so
But-
it's not the 87.
But why are we only in the first year, the 1.8 million? Where's the balance of that, the 40 some odd million? Where's that going?
Balance.
Well,
This is revenues, not expenses.
right, revenue.
Yeah, so this is an
We're
increase
getting,
in revenue.
okay, let me give you an example. We got $87 million this year. You're expecting 3% growth next year, which comes to the 1.8 million. Where's the rest of it going?
The 3% is not 87, 3% of 80.
I understand you've
Yes.
only got the
3
growth,
million.
but we're not accounting for the balance of the VLT and HERF that does go to transportation.
No, it doesn't. And so that's the continuing misinformation or misunderstanding. There are two components to VLT.
I
One
understand
component
that.
goes to transportation.
Right,
The other component goes to the county general fund.
right,
So the component that goes to transportation, along with HERF, which are legitimate transportation revenues, is the 62 million, not 87 million.
okay, so we got 62 million. You're showing additional HERF from increased revenues. You've got the 3% accounted for there, but I want to see a column for the 62 million. Where's that going?
Well, this is a revenue column. This is not an
The
expense
62
column.
million is revenue. We get it back from the state,
It's not
isn't
an
it?
expense column.
This is revenues right here. These are all revenues. That 62 million comes into the county from the state, and I don't see it accounted for here.
This is an increase on the 62.
You're showing an increase above, right? You're showing the 3%, but you're not showing, where's the 62 going?
Well, the 62 is in the base expenditures of the department.
But he just said it was right.
But you've got the estimated sales tax revenue, then you've got a column for the debt reduction, then you've got a column for the 3% in growth. We can all get that. Then you've got the bonds, and then you've got operational savings. Where's that column for the HERF? VLT that is to be used for transportation person. In other words, the 62 million, where's that column?
The 62 million is an expense column. This is a revenue column table. So you now have to go to the expenses of the Department of Transportation. You can allocate the
It's
62
revenue, so
million.
you're allocating it to the expenses for the Department of Transportation. That's where that revenue that we get back from the state is going.
That's correct.
Okay, so not, very little of, it's just if there's growth in it that we're putting it to roads, to the road repairs. We're only gonna we're gonna continue to do salaries and overhead, $62 million. And I'm
Mr.
real
Chairman,
concerned.
Supervisor Miller, we're allocating $20 million of the property road tax for road repairs.
No, I'm looking at table 6. Column 1 is
I believe it.
estimated sales tax revenue. That is not HERF revenue. Show me what column has that 62 million in it. It's not there, and it's revenue.
This is table 6 for
Right.
the 10-year plan to repair roads.
The funding
The
sources.
revenues.
So we're not going to use that 62 million to repair roads over the 10 years? There is no base.
It's
It's
in
not here,
it's
Sharon.
in the operating base of the Department of Transportation.
So
A
you're
portion
gonna-
of it is used to maintain the entire system and to repair roads, and it does not include
It
the
is not going to.
25-cent property tax that's levied by the board for road repair.
Okay, nice. Thank you. We could go around for a while on this, but that is revenue.
Just like the increases revenue.
You turned off your microphone, Supervisor.
1.3%. You account for the growth in it, but you're not accounting for the base in this scenario. Does it make sense to you, Ramon? Come on.
It does to me.
You should show that where you're spending those monies in this table, so that it shows where all of the monies that come in and where they're being distributed.
You essentially
It's
want a
very
source
clear.
and use of funds,
I
right?
think that's
It's
been
very
discussed ad
clear
nauseum.
That it's going to salaries and up.
No, it's not.